Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Fiddle. Today we're going to start building the stairs and finish off the first floor bay window. And as always, don't forget to check the link in the description. That will take you to the Scavenger Hunt where you can find the list of materials and free printable pattern so you can make this house for yourself. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Before we start on the stairs, we're going to finish off the first floor by completing the bay window walls and roof. I used my corrugated plastic for this roofing, but really I think poster board would have been fine enough. The plastic makes it too thick and there's more edges that I have to try to hide with it. I put tape along the inside wall panels and added glue in the crack. While you're putting the side pieces on, make sure that you are flipping one of them over because they are a right and left side difference. Next, add the top piece. Next, we need to cut some trim out. The length really isn't as important as the thickness. We need some cut 1 inch thick, and we also need some cut the thickness of our material to cover around the windowsills after we put the windows in. But right now we're going to focus on the 1 inch thick strips. We need to take a ball style or a set of tweezers or some other sort of blunt object and put a crease right down the center at the 1/2 inch mark. This gives us a wide piece of bent trim that we can cover wide gaps with. If you're using poster board, there's no need for such wide strips. 1/2 inch or less would be just fine. Repeat the process on the underside as well. If you want to add regular shingles to this, go right ahead. I plan to later on, but I wanted to make sure I had a covering on the underneath side so you wouldn't be able to see the white showing through. And while we're waiting for the roof to dry, we can move on to the walls. As you may remember, I didn't double layer my walls for the first floor, so I still have my bay windows left to make double layer, and the reason why I waited was so I could have the windows put in. Apply double-sided tape to one side of your bay window walls. Then trim the resin windows that we made last episode. And funny thing is, in all technicality, this shouldn't have worked this way. Usually resin warps whenever you try to make something thin. However, mine did not. But I'm glad it worked and I kept going. Peel off the double-sided tape so we can stick our windows to the wall. And then to the side of the house. I don't have footage of me putting it together, but this is what it looks like at this point. There are a few things still left to do on this bay window, but we'll get to those details when we go to do the outside of the house when it's all finished. Okay, now that we've gotten the bay window this far, we can move on to starting to build the second floor and make the stairs. We're going to start with the same poster board circle as we did for the first floor. If you need more direction and how to get to this point, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen so you can watch that tutorial and come back to this one. All 3 sets of spiral stairs are exactly the same. Be sure you're using the same inner circle diameter as you did for the first floor. And be sure you number them before you cut them apart. It's really important to keep track of which step is which and what side is up. For me, I used a magnifying mirror and traced it. Once you have all of your stairs cut out, trace them onto your building material and cut them out. For me, that was my corrugated plastic. Now that our stairs are cut out, we need to cut some 1/2 inch wide strips. These will be the risers to the stairs. Next, we need to take our wood paneling and turn it over, but we need to remember which way our grain lines are going and trace each step upside down and make sure you're numbering them as you go. Once we've gotten them all traced on our wood grain, we need to cut them out again. I know it's a lot of cutting for just stairs, but we did it this way because our original poster board was our pattern to tell us what our stairs needed to be. Then we needed to transfer that over to our building material, which for me is the corrugated plastic. And finally, we had to make it look like wood stairs, so we had to do it out of the poster board. And I know that's a lot, but it's worth it all in the end. And you can always keep the original pattern to use for the next set of stairs because we're not done making stairs yet. We have one full flight left and we may add some more in somewhere, I'm not sure. Once we've gotten all of our pieces cut out, we need to put double-sided tape on the back side. If you don't have or you don't want to use double-sided tape, you can always use glue. I used glue on the first floor, and so far it's holding up fine. Okay, once we've gotten them all taped, we can trim the edges, then we can tape the wood grain to the stairs that we cut out earlier. And I didn't record me doing that, so I had to go back and pull the footage from the first floor. But imagine that these are painted in wood grain. Okay, now we need to add the front end risers to the stair. To make sure that you're gluing the risers on the right side, the skinny end needs to be towards the left and the thicker end needs to be towards the right. Keep going until you have a riser on each step. Let it all completely dry before moving on to the next step because we are ready to start building the tower. Start with step 1 lined up with the very bottom right hand corner. Then add tape to the back side of the second stair riser. Then tape stair 1 to stair 2, making sure that the first stair step matches up with the second stair riser. Trim off the excess tape. Fold down the first step and then add glue along the tape line. Fold the stair back up. Then add glue along the thick side of our stairs. And glue it to the bottom right hand corner of our first tower wall. Keep repeating the process until you have 4 stairs on this wall. This is what it should look like so far. Now we can start adding stairs to wall 2, but first we need to figure out where we need to start them. Lay your walls side by side, then taking step number 5, measure where it will meet up with stair number 4, and mark a line just under stair number 5. This will be where we start the stairs, using the same process that we did for the first wall. We need to add glue and tape along the edge of step number 6, and glue and tape it to step number 5. Then add glue along the side of the stairs and glue it to our wall, going by the mark that we put there earlier. Keep going until you have all 4 stairs on the wall. Okay, now that we have 2 walls done, we can connect them together. Put tape along the back edge of stair number 5. Then put tape and glue along the edge of wall number 2 and step number 5. Start with the stair first and then do the wall. And unfortunately after this my head was in the way the whole time. Yep, the whole time. So you can't see me finish building the tower, unfortunately, but it is far enough to say that I think you would be able to manage doing it from there. So we'll just move on to what we do when the stairs are built, and that is to add a tape trim around the edges of the door frames, and our wood trim to the inside corners. And here's what it should look like at this point. Now that we've got the stairs made and the trim in, we need some scrap paper because we're going to figure out what shape we need to make for the cover on the underneath side of the stairs. Turn the tower upside down and then start laying the paper along the underneath side, making sure that you're touching the walls and the outside edge of the stairs. Use painter's tape to hold it together as you go. Once you have it set in place, trim off all the excess all the way down the inside of the stairs. I found it easier with such a tight space to press my thumb up against the edge of the stairs and rip the paper off. Once you have the shape right, pull it out and tape down any areas that need to be, then trace it onto poster board and cut it out. Now on to painting. Since Madeline's house is mostly wood, I'm going to go with more wood paneling. I did consider leaving it white for a minute, but then decided not. And since I had my tape out, I went ahead and paid in my tape trim, so that way it'll blend in when I put the trim around the doors. And speaking of trim, that's what we're doing next. If you hadn't already, because we were supposed to last episode, but if you're like me and you hadn't already, put trim on both the inside and the outside of both the door frames. Okay, now we're ready to put the backing on the stairs. Start by adding glue at the edge of every step. The poster board may not come in contact with every step, but at least there will be some where there is contact. Then with the help of paper clamps and painter's tape, set the covering in place. I had to fiddle with mine quite a bit to get it in the right position. But once I had it where I needed it to go, I added glue all along the outside edge to seal it in place. And while we're waiting for this to dry, we need to measure and cut one more 1-inch thick strip, but it needs to be around 2 feet long. This will be the trim that goes around the inside edge of the stairs to cover up the raw edge. And lastly, give the stairs a coat of watered down black paint to make everything look cohesive and cover up any white spots that might be showing through. And with that, it brings us to the end of the tutorial. I hope this gives you ideas for your next project, or that you'll join me in building your own. Next tutorial, we will be finishing building the second floor. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate you. If you're new, welcome. And as always, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and comment because it all really helps me out a lot. Thank you, Ginger, and I'll see you next time.